Howdy y'all, welcome to Nerd Studio. We're out of the range today with a different camera. Stay tuned. So the camera we use at the studio for most of the main shots is a Panasonic. We got it a couple of years ago. It's about $600, and you know, it's just a consumer handy cam. At the time, it was a little higher end. It shoots 1080p video at 60 frames per second, which is still plenty good, particularly for YouTube. It's high definition by standard and works well for us. You can get a modern version of it. Shoots 4K video around the same price, today's dollars. So anyway, that's the primary camera we use. We started out with a camera by Sony, and we still use it occasionally for secondary shots if we're you know, needing something wide or you know, want two looks at the same movement, that kind of thing. And it does fine. It shoots 1080p at 30 frames per second, and it was a good camera. Still is. At the time when we started, we also had a GoPro. This is it right here. This is a Hero 3, and you know, these are great. They're rugged. In fact, if you could get a really close look, you'd probably still see some cheese embedded on the case here. We used it quite a bit. They shoot terrific video. You know, there's plenty of GoPro stuff out there. I'm sure y'all know what that is. But I used it on a drone and crashed the drone, and the camera hasn't quite worked right since. And so we stopped using it for secondary shots. But there is still times when we want a shot that only really an action cam is right for. We shoot a lot of tannerite here. In fact, I just got another 50 pounds of it from what is it, American Chemical Supply or USA Chemical Supply, and you know, a lot of fun reactive targets. We've got some acreage here and can do that kind of stuff. So it tends to feature in a lot of the videos, and this Panasonic really isn't going to take that kind of pounding. We shoot a lot of cheese cans out here. If you're not familiar with the cheese can videos, go back and watch some. They're a blast. It's a lot of fun. But you know, again, this camera is not really going to hold up to cheesification, I guess. There has been times when I've gotten cheese on the camera and I panicked and ran up and started cleaning it off, make sure it still worked, because it's just not ruggedized at all. So, but GoPros are $300-400 or more, and typically just the base camera doesn't come with all the whistles and bells you want, so you end up spending some more money on them. And I looked at it and went, man, it's just not in the budget. I'd love to have another GoPro, but if I'm putting it at ground zero of explosions, it's sort of hard to justify the expense. So I went, well, those have been out for a while. I wonder if there are any other action cameras out there that work. So this here is the FITFORT camera. It is the FITFORT Action Cam. You can find this guy on Amazon. At the time I bought it, was $63. That's about 1/5 the price, roughly, of a GoPro. Does it have the quality of a modern GoPro? Yeah, probably not. I haven't really looked at I think the Hero 5 or whatever it is. You know, I know they do 4K video, all that good stuff. But I really had to ask myself, do I need all the whistles and bells of a GoPro? No, not really. This camera it'll shoot 4K video. It does it at 25 frames per second, which is, you know, the eye will accept 25 frames per second. But it'll do 2.7K at 30 frames per second, which is a lot of pixels. I normally publish my videos in 1080p, so 2.7K is plenty. That will allow me to do some digital editing and play with the video some, and still put out a really good, clear 1080p video. It will do 1080p as well, up to 60 frames per second, like the Panasonic does. And if you drop it down to 720p, you're going to get 120 frames per second on that camera, which is pretty awesome. It comes with a 170-degree lens, so you're getting this sort of wide lens, and you can probably see things curve out here to the side. That's one of the things that you could do with the GoPro is you could actually have it shoot flat, which I'm sure the lens on this guy is curved. Maybe they're digitally straightening that out. But I can do the same thing with this. So you've got the curved version here, and so now right here, I'll correct it inside of Adobe. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and it has a filter that will take that curvature out when I need it. So that solves that problem. The other thing that's really cool with this camera, and let me turn this, forgive the noise, but it came, can you see it there? Yeah. So it came with the housing and all of that in this really cool package, and we'll get you a close look at this. Whoa, bad camera work. So it comes with kind of a hard shell case, which, it's not, I don't know that I'd, pack glass or something in it, but it's going to protect that camera just fine. And comes with pretty much every doodad you could think of to get you started with an action cam. It's got all the clips and the hooks and the thingamabobs and straps. You can attach it to a handlebar. It's ready to go to a helmet and become a helmet cam. All for $63. It comes with 2 batteries. And if you do a review, which is what I'm doing here, and you send you put the review in Amazon, and you send that to the folks that produce this camera, they will send you 2 more batteries and an external charging base. So that's pretty cool. One of the other features I really like is this guy here. It's a remote for starting and stopping the camera, and it has a photograph button so you can take photos. There is an app for your cell phone so that you can control the camera on your cell phone, start and stop, do previews off your cell phone. I've used it a little bit and it works okay. Even tried to use that app to turn this into a spotting camera for the rifle bench. It doesn't have quite enough power to send the Wi-Fi signal up 100 yards, but you probably have 20 or 30 yards range just fine, which is perfect for, shooting any kind of action stuff. So let's take a look at the camera in action, and we'll shoot some guns and film it. So if there are any drawbacks or any negatives really to talk about with this camera, would be that it only accepts a 32 gigabyte max micro SD card. It would be really handy if it took a 128 gig. And I did see some people commenting on Amazon that they were using 128 gig in there and it was working fine. I don't know, I haven't tried it, and the manufacturer says max at 32. My guess is if they are getting away with 128 in there, it probably is only seeing 32 gig of the card or something. But, I might play around and test that and see what it does. The other thing is that it appears to film in like 5-minute chunks. So if you run this camera with a 32 gig card, it'll shoot 2.7K for about an hour and 8 minutes. But it appears to create a new file every 5 minutes. Which can create some gaps at inopportune times. So you have to be aware that as you're filming, as it writes that file out, it appears to have a little bit of lag before it picks up the next file. It may not be doing some buffering or something in there. So that's can create a little bit of a hassle in the editing room. Although, I'm not really using this for talking. I just happen to be doing that today because I'm showing off the camera. It's mostly used for action shots, so it's not going to be a big deal, in my opinion. So there are a couple of drawbacks, but for $63, it really fits the bill nicely for me. This does exactly what I need it to, and I'm not going to worry if I get it too close to some tannerite and break the camera. So there you go. The FITFORT Action Cam, something a little different here at the studio, but it's pretty fun gear at a good price. All right, folks, always remember anyone can shoot, and at $63, you could probably shoot the camera. Anyone can shoot and have fun. We'll see you next time.